This is Movie Night with the Boys.
Hi, welcome to Media Night with the Boys. I'm John.
And I'm Zach.
And we are a weekly podcast where we discuss movies, TV, video games, and media. And this week, we have a special guest, Josh from the Millennial Coffee Break podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be guesting here.
We're very excited to have you. And this week, we are bringing to you the movie Samaritan, a 2022 film. Stallone, if you don't know the name, where the fuck do you live? Who the hell are you even? Brand new action fantasy movie. I think that was pretty fun, but we'll get into that later. All you need to know, it is directed by Julius Avery, and the cast, of course, Sylvester Stallone, Javon Wana Walton, and Pilu Asbayek. I probably butchered that because it is, I want to say Swedish. I could be wrong. But Zach's going to tell you about the movie, and we'll talk about it.
Before that, Josh, why don't you tell our listeners about your podcast?
All right. I guess it's not too dissimilar to you guys' podcast. We do like a bunch of media. We kind of just talk about things you would just chat about over coffee, right? So we're coffee, or I was almost about to say coffee night with the boys, which I guess that's what this is tonight.
Yeah.
But the Millennial Coffee Break, we're millennials. We like things from the '80s. So Stallone works well here. We've talked about 80s music, 90s music. Some of the cool stuff we're into, like we're big Marvel fans, big Star Wars fans. So we have hit those whenever we can. I guess we're most of the places that you can find podcasts, and check us out. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I listen to you guys pretty frequently whenever you guys drop a new episode, and some of the stuff though, because I live in Canada, so. Certain things you guys are talking about, I'm like, I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Like certain franchises and stuff like that, right? I'm just like, oh, okay, well, whatever. I'm along for the ride. Right. So, but no, I enjoy the podcast.
Oh, thank you. I mean, we've kind of had a weird release schedule recently with school and everything starting back up, and so I guess we've been bumping weird. So you may have been starved for content for a few minutes, but we'll have something at some point soon.
Yeah. I wake up in the morning and I go down the new releases and whenever it's there, I'll just go down my list because I download them because I just listen to podcasts all day at work, right? So I catch them whenever you guys drop them. So it's all good. I mean, our schedule has been terrible lately, right? So
yeah, that was my fault to some degree.
Hey, taking a little bit of time off for when you're podcasting, because you don't think about it, but talking, coming up with material to cover is kind of difficult sometimes. And it's nice to have a week where you're we're chilling.
Yeah.
A month where you're we're gonna hit a little less this month.
Yeah. But, I mean, August was pretty nice, all the time off, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to do this more often. Yeah. I'm kidding. We don't want to make it a frequent thing, but I think we're all millennials actually. We're all post 85.
I think we're probably the last of them.
Yeah, I'm an 88 baby.
I'm 90.
Yeah, I'm what 94. So
okay,
you're right.
I guess I would be the latest one. I think it ends at 96 or something.
I want to say it's 95, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
there, sliding under the door.
Yeah,
grabbing my hat on the way by.
Yeah, you might have stubbed your toe when the door slammed on it.
Yeah.
So, as I said, the movie is Samaritan. If you don't know who Sly Stallone is, Rambo. Shit, I can't even think of other movies right now. Rambo, Rocky, Daybreak, Copland. I mean, he's got a list of movies you can't forget. But we're going to talk about Samaritan, and Zach's going to tell us all about it.
Yeah, all right. So, Samaritan 2022. The movie starts off with the main character, Sam Cleary, telling us about the story of twin brothers, Samaritan and Nemesis. They were hated from childhood. Their family was burned to death by their neighborhood. One of them grew up to fight for justice and be a protector, called the Samaritan, and the other, consumed by rage and revenge, wanted to watch the world burn, and his name was Nemesis.
Classic names.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, one thing I thought right when they were going through it at the beginning, I was like, did he choose his name Nemesis? Because that kind of locks you into being a bad guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much, right? Samaritan tried to contain his brother's fury, which led to Nemesis forging a powerful weapon, which he poured all his hate and revenge towards his brother into. A hammer that was the only thing that could really hurt the brothers, right?
So whoever hold his hammer shall be able to take out the good guy.
Yeah, the good guy also like seems to like enjoy hitting people with it too. Like it's kind of funny that like in this universe there's kind of just like these two guys, right? And it's funny to see like instead of having like a thunder hammer, it's just like a sledgehammer that someone grabbed off of like a construction lot that they're swinging at each other.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, no, I do enjoy the concept. I mean, me and John are both big superhero fans, right? He's Marvel, I'm DC, but I mean, I'm a fan of both, right? So,
And
but yeah, like so anything that has like superheroes in it, it's usually like I'm down for, right?
yeah,
Sylvester Stallone superheroes.
it's the age that gets me.
The
Yeah,
what?
he's still a massive man for what, like
Yeah.
almost 60? Is he in
I
60s?
think he's 70 something. I'll double check it, but I believe he's like 73. I could be wrong though.
He's old as hell.
Like, it's even better. I mean, him and I would love to see a movie with him and Arnie in it at their age now.
Oh yeah.
And them just doing stuff.
Well, like
Which I guess
like
that's what
Expendables,
the
yeah.
He is
Expendables was.
76. The man is 76 years old.
Holy crap.
And he's still putting off that superhero vibe, which that's quite impressive.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 as well, so I'm really looking forward to him
Yeah, I
being
know,
in
but
that too.
he's not going to be doing anything in Guardians. He's going to be
Of
sitting
course
in a
not.
chair flying a ship. Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, who knows? Maybe he's gonna flip a car or something.
no.
We've seen that practical now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Nemesis lures out his brother into a fight, basically a fight to the death, knowing that his brother's going to come and protect these people. So he basically attacks a power plant, and his brother shows up. They fight, and he punches his brother, and there's this big explosion, and apparently they both die. Right, as from what the narrator tells us. Right. And this is the story that everybody was told, but our main character here believes the Samaritan's still alive, and we cut and we see the title card, big sledgehammer with the word Samaritan written on it. I really actually enjoyed this like little backstory, right? I kind of wish I had got a little bit more. It's kind of annoying having to like watch the whole movie to get the whole backstory. You know what I mean? But I mean, I didn't hate it, right? That's the thing too. I'm very cynical with everything, right? Because John is too nice, so I have to be extra mean.
Yeah.
I sometimes overanalyze stuff, right? But I
He's
didn't
the
hate.
devil to
I
my
didn't hate
shoulder,
the-
Angel.
Yeah. I do think that it was weird to say that this movie that I would classify as like a good bad movie, right? Something that I want to see more in the past. Like seeing the two, and it would be weird seeing like Sly Stallone as a CGI down guy the whole movie.
Yeah.
But like a prequel would be really cool in this movie.
Yeah,
agree.
right? I think so too. Right? But my problem is I think there's going to be a sequel, but we'll get into that later, right?
Yeah.
All right, so then we cut to present day. We meet Sam. He's watching some video about Samaritan. This guy believes he's alive. We also meet his mom, Tiffany. She's a hardworking woman. She takes $5 from him because she needs the money for the bus because she's got to go to work, right? She works in the hospital. She tells Sam to go take out the trash. So Sam basically does that. And this is where he basically comes across Joe. And Joe's throwing out his own trash, but he also goes in and finds this old fan, right? So takes that inside, and Sam actually like there's a spray painting of the Nemesis logo So he just randomly had some spray paint and decided to spray paint the Samaritan logo over top of it. I was like, where the hell did he get that spray paint? Why did he know to bring it outside? Like, what the hell? Right?
Just
These
ripping it out of
days.
trash cans all day.
It's the kids of Granite City.
Yeah, right. So then we cut to the next day. We see Joe going to work, where we see he's a garbage man. We see him pull an old radio out of some trash. He's basically likes to pick up old shit. They didn't really explain that. I mean, at least not yet, right? Why he picks up all the
Mhm.
stuff.
I think he's a hoarder, or at least at that point, I thought he was a hoarder.
Yeah, right. We then see Sam coming home, and he's locked out of his house because his mom and them are getting evicted, essentially, right? So I've never seen that in my life, but there was like this. It looked like a baby lock, like um, when your kids are old enough, there's this thing that you put on the door, and the kids can't turn the doorknob, right? That's
I
what
have
it.
one
It
on
just
this door
spins on
here.
the inside.
Yeah, that's what it looked like was on his door. You know what I mean? And I was like,
Mhm.
what the hell is that, right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't.
I don't think I've ever seen that either. Not for an eviction situation. I've seen it for like a lockout on a storage unit,
Mhm.
Yeah,
like,
maybe. Yeah, yeah,
but never for an eviction situation. Like, especially if you're only a few days over. Like, what?
yeah.
Yeah, or I mean,
Exactly.
I guess this, this mythical city of Granite, right? Granite City. You have, I guess, really important people trying to get into apartments. So it's like, oh, you're 2 hours late, you're out. See ya. Like we're just moving someone else in.
One way to address the homeless population.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, no, it was literally the first, and she was like, "I'll have the money in like 3 days. Like, just give me a break." And the guy's like, "Yeah, no, has to be on the first." And it's just like, I don't think like I don't think you could just lock people out like that,
I
right?
don't think so
Like,
either. Yeah, I
You
don't
could
think so.
probably just hang out in there and be like, all right, well, I'm squatting, so bye.
basically, right? So, so then we get a quick interaction between Sam and Joe. We then meet Jace, who's one of Sam's buddies, who basically gets Sam to help him go and pick copper, right? So while they're going to sell the copper, we get introduced to Cyrus, right? Cyrus is this, big gangster dude, right? He runs the gang, I guess, right? And he has all the little annoying, goons following around that kid from the Hannah Montana show, right?
Yeah, with a rad hairdo.
Right? Yeah, he's got the six.
Takashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, he's got the 6ix9ine hairstyle, right? Rainbow and everything, right?
Takashi 6'8".
No, that's
Yeah,
like
6'8".
Takashi, like
Yeah, more like 5'3".
41, 41.
That's still pretty generous. It'd be like Takashi 411 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was so small.
yeah, no, he's tiny, but like I watched this other movie that he was in, and he was playing this like same kind of like stoner dude. Like it wasn't like a tough guy, but he was like this like stoner guy with all these tattoos and stuff. And I was like, dude, you used to be the little prick from Hannah Montana that was giving everybody tickets and shit. Like I can't take you seriously in any movie I see you in. You know?
Yeah, you kind of just have to retire after you've been on like a Disney Channel show for so long.
Right? Well, especially playing the character that he played. It's just like you are one of the most memorable characters from that show, right? And it's just like, oh
Yeah.
God, I can't take you seriously, man. So so they get offered $40 for the copper, and this is when Hannah Montana dude Raza or Riza he shows
Rita
up,
Reza.
right? And he basically says like I need someone to cause a distraction. Jace is like, "No, I'm good. Like fuck you." And Sam's like, "Oh, I can do this." Right? So
Mm.
basically they go to the store, Sam causes a distraction, they steal some boxes that say Lotto on the side of them, right? So they go, they open up the boxes and there's chips inside, right? RZA tries to blame Sam for this, right? And Sam's like, "Yeah, no, I did what you said. Like, this is your fault." And basically, they start fighting, and Cyrus comes out and he's like, "What's going on?" Right? And basically embarrasses RZA and gives Sam money, essentially, right? And then tells him about Nemesis, how like all the people in this like gang or whatever all look up to Nemesis, right? Like Nemesis is the good guy, he's the one who looked out for the little people, right?
Mm.
Evil Robin Hood.
Kind of, right? But again, as we go through the movie, we learn that that whole Nemesis story has been twisted, right? Like it whatever he did had nothing to do with what everybody claims that he's represents. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he might be a bad guy, but he's not messed up like the rest of the people. You know what I mean? So it's kind of
Hmm.
it was an interesting take on a super villain, right?
Yeah, he's
Because
like Zangief and Wreck-It Ralph. He's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy.
Zangief
Yeah, I mean, he
Zangief
just
is
kind of
not a
just
bad.
hates his brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And I think that's what it was. And it's just like people got involved in that drama between the two brothers, and all of a sudden now he's some supervillain, right? Like he wasn't like the Penguin or Lex Luthor. Like he didn't have goons working for him. It was just him trying to mess with his brother, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, so you just see like he's painted as this supervillain. He might not be a good guy, but he had like one goal in mind. You know what I mean? And that was to mess up his brother.
One thing I do think is funny about that whole like we look up to Nemesis thing is they say like they look up to Nemesis and then they like blow up the power areas and like rob banks. It's like, how is that helping anybody? You're like stealing their money.
Yeah, right. It's actually he actually states it later in the movie because Sam goes, "Oh, what happened to punching up?" Right, and he was like, "Oh, well, you know, you got to start at the bottom before you can like move up, right?" Like that's basically what he said. So I mean, I guess they kind of answer that question. So Sam returns home, and his mom is finally there. She's fighting with the landlord, I guess, right? Sam gives her the money that he got from Cyrus, right? And basically it unlocks the door, right? Like the land guy's like, "Oh, okay, I'll take the cash and unlock the door." Which, to be honest, if he was gonna lock you out, like that's a scam. That's straight up a scam. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
As we said earlier, this is not something that happens in real life, unless it's a
No.
storage unit.
Right? So we then cut to Cyrus and the gang, and they're planning to like steal some stuff, and with these like weird smoke bombs. I don't know about you guys, but I was like, what the fuck? Like those are smoke bombs. What the hell are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like,
You ever played Metal Gear Solid?
yeah.
Chaff grenades.
What grenades?
Chaff grenades. Or chafe grenades.
Yeah,
The
that's
ones
not
that
what
the,
I think you're right on the first one.
yeah, I think it's chaff. The ones that make the technology around not work.
yeah, but these they called them shadow grenades.
Did they? That's a
They do
scoop.
kind of kill people, I think, right?
At least one.
Yeah, I think up close they could kill people, yeah. Right? At
I
least
mean,
two
that
people
dude
died.
later on. Yeah, I was gonna say there was at least one dude who got one in the chest. That didn't work out too well for him.
No, and then
Yeah.
but the first one we see actually when he puts it in the drawer, it blows up. It blows up in the guy's face. I'm pretty sure it kills that guy. Like that guy looks like he
Yeah.
gets torn apart, right? So I mean that black stuff is pretty freaky. And then think about it when he threw the one later on in the movie when he flips the car, right? He flips the car like if it was just a smoke bomb, like
Yeah, it
why
definitely
would
had
you
force. It definitely had
right?
force.
Yeah, you know what
I
I
guess
mean.
they should just call them like MacGuffin grenades.
Yeah, you know what I
Whatever
mean.
you need it to be.
So the next day, Sam he's getting chased by Riza. Is it
I
Raza?
think it's I think it's Reza. If it was Reza, someone named Rizza would have had a problem with it.
Riza. I'm still calling him Riza. I don't care. So basically, Sam's getting chased by Riza and his goons, and they
Wu
catch
Tang,
him.
sorry.
Hey, whatever, man. It's spelled differently. Um, so basically, they catch him. They start beating him up, and this is where like Joe randomly comes out of nowhere and saves the kid, beats up Riza and his goons, uh, catches a knife and bends it up, right, and
Hmm.
basically reveals that he's some old badass. And then Sam's like, "Yeah, you're a Samaritan. Like you're the Samaritan. You know what I mean?"
You gotta be. Who else could you be?
Right. So so Sam basically super excited goes home, grabs his binoculars, he looks into Joe's apartment, he sees his back is all scarred up, his fridge is like full of ice cream, and I don't understand what the fridge full of ice cream means that he's a superhero. I don't quite understand that. You
Well,
know
he
what I
didn't even
mean?
know at that point about the whole his body heats up when he uses his power. Like he didn't know that yet. So how would he have possibly understood that as a comparison?
That's exactly
I
my
mean,
point.
I would feel like only superheroes can eat that much ice cream and stay ripped up. You know? Maybe just like, this guy would be dead otherwise.
Basically, right?
You sure you don't got
So-
diabetes?
So Sam runs over to his apartment. He gets his name, Joe Smith, and we see that Sam has been essentially looking for the Samaritan for a while. He's got this whole list of people and he's writing names and scratching them off. So he adds Joe's name to the list.
What a
Right.
fucking creep. That kid's a creep.
Yeah.
I do like how when he's talking to someone later in the movie, or maybe it's earlier in the movie, he's like, you also thought it was like your janitor? He's like, no, he's just regular strong. I found a guy who's actually strong.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's like he's writing down.
That's
like,
actually next.
Tony,
Yeah.
I think that's the kid that
Tony from the pizza shop.
Yeah, that's the guy that writes the book, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Martin Starr. I didn't know that until I was looking at the cast earlier.
It looks exactly like it. He's not wearing any type of makeup or anything. It looks exactly like him.
Yeah, it didn't dawn on me. Like, he could have just been another guy with a beard for all I knew.
Yeah, right. So we then see Cyrus and the gang. They break into a police lockup. They steal the Nemesis mask and the hammer. And when Cyrus grabs the hammer, Joe kind of like reacts like he like feels someone grabbing the hammer and stuff. Right? It was very weird. I don't know if he was just being scared of the lightning all of a sudden randomly. Right?
Yeah, that's
But,
exactly what it was.
You know what I mean? It was weird, right? So yeah, and then he smashed something, and then Buddy like almost fell out of his chair, right? So then we see Sam. He visits Martin at a bookstore, right? He pays him $10 to basically listen to him, right? And he tells him that he found Samaritan, and the guy brings him inside his lair, and Martin tells him about the hammer, right?
His lair. I'm sorry, that's just the lair thing.
That's actually what I have written down. He brings Sam to his lair. That's what it was. It was a lair.
I didn't think to call it that when I was watching it. I was like, oh, a room full of stuff.
I just assumed it was his apartment. I was like, why did this kid go to this guy's apartment?
Yeah.
This really young kid has this older guy fascination. This movie has some really serious dark undertones.
Well, he's clearly looking for a father figure. That's the other
Yeah.
thing, right? So
But he won't settle for anyone other than whoever is the vigilante man.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
yeah,
I need someone
right?
that's wicked old, date my mom, mostly to protect her, but also me.
Yeah, right. So Martin tells him about the hammer. Sam shows him the knife, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I still don't believe you. Get out of here." Right. So he sends him his way. Right. The next day, Sam goes and breaks into Joe's apartment. Right. He sees the fridge full of ice cream and his work desk full of all those like contraptions and whatnot. And he finds a scrapbook, so he steals it. Joe comes back, and on his way back, he's actually spotted by Riza. And Joe, once he gets in his apartment, he instantly realizes that the book is gone. Like, what? How?
The guy
How?
has some kind of precognition or something. There's no other way.
I don't know. So then he goes right over to Sam's place and basically gets the book back instantly, right? So later in that day or the next day, I don't know what the timeline was, right? Sam's outside throwing trash at the garbage can when Joe comes out. And Joe is basically trying to convince him that he's not the Samaritan, right? So
Mhm.
Joe's like, talking, and then he's all of a sudden he's in the middle of the street, and this is when Riza and his cousin just run him over, and essentially, I'm like, oh damn! I was like, all right, end of movie. I was like, that was good. That was good. 35 minutes, right?
I did think that it would be really funny. I knew it wouldn't end like this, right? Obviously, because it's like 35, 40 minutes in. And I was like, but it would be funny if it just ended there and it was just this kid being traumatized by seeing someone get run over by a car.
Right? Oh man, I would have loved that. I would have loved that.
Just a broken Stallone.
Just all twitching on avenge me.
Yeah, right. So basically, he's out for a couple of seconds, like maybe like 25 seconds, and then he basically starts snapping back into place, right? Fixing his shit, and he's also starting to like steam, right? So Sam helps him back into his apartment where he turns on the shower, and made absolutely no sense, but a crazy amount of steam just shot off of Buddy's body and like pushed the kid over, right? Like, I'm like, what the hell? Like, that makes absolutely no sense.
The
You know
steam,
what I
sure,
mean?
but the force, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that was.
Yeah, the amount of steam, yeah, fine, whatever, right? But like, yeah, that force that it had, like that shit was like pushing like a hot air balloon. Like, what the hell? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, what?
ridiculous.
I looked down for a second, and when I looked back up, it was that scene. I thought he like had run into like a freezer unit or something. And, like when he opened it up, it was just like,
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah.
just a shower.
Yeah, exactly, right. Just regular old water. So then we learned that his body heats up when he uses his powers, and if he doesn't cool down, he'll explode, right? So,
Say,
so
I'm so bummed that I didn't get to see that happen at least once in this movie. Like, they should have shown the other guy.
what
You
other
know,
guy?
Yeah, maybe in the flashback
the
fight scenes,
nemesis.
instead of
Oh, they were twins.
whoever wants to blow up just blows up at the end.
Yeah. Like when he fell into the fire.
Yeah. No. I was thinking the same thing, but I have a retort for you at the end of the movie about that.
All right.
So yeah, we'll get into that, right? We then jump to Cyrus and the gang where they drop a blackout grenade and he basically like blows up like part of the street and he comes out, he reveals himself as the new nemesis, right? And he basically just they start chanting his name. Those people were so quick to be like, "Oh yeah, like nemesis, nemesis." And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no, I'm like, I'm going home. Like, you guys do what the hell you want to do. I'm not fucking rioting in the streets for no reason because this guy has a sledgehammer. Like, what the fuck?
They
Like,
jumped on him like Gotham jumped on Bane in Dark Knight Rises.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. It feels like the city, like I guess throughout the movie they keep talking about how like, Granite City's crime rate is 20% higher, and good luck tonight, you might get killed. But there's no like cool thing about living there. So it's not like there's a Batman though, or there's some cool real rich, like crazy rich people here. It's just bad like the whole way through.
Yeah,
And they're
exactly.
still like, I'm ready to break through a wall and like get some shoes or something. I don't know.
Right? Yeah, it was very weird.
Jesus Christ.
So we then see Joe, he's having a dream, and we get a little bit more background on the fight between the two of them. I mean, it was like a minute, like it wasn't anything special, but I enjoy the kind of the flashbacks. I wish there was more, right? Like I guess
Yeah.
like we were saying, like I would like to see more of the past, right?
Agreed.
So the next day, Sam tries to follow Joe, and he's quickly caught, and they basically spend the afternoon. They spend the afternoon together, essentially, which I thought was very weird, right? And
Creepy with a capital C.
yeah, so at the end of the day, when they finally get back, he takes Sam's watch and he tells him, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna fix your watch for you," right? I'm like, okay, you're fucking creepy, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, they're two peas in a pod.
The next day, Sam convinces Joe to train him, and while training, Sam hurts his hand because he decides to punch a man who can be hit by a car and not die. Like, I don't know, it was stupid. But he hurts his hand on Joe's stomach, right? So they go back to Joe's house, right? And Sam essentially keeps like asking about Nemesis. Joe gets pissed off and essentially kicks Sam out of his crib, right? So Sam runs off and we get a small flashback again, more about the fight with the two brothers, nothing too special. And then we see Sam, he's getting into a car with Cyrus. So then Sam is hanging out with the gang and Cyrus is trying to tell him like, "Yo, you got to learn how to whistle. When you see cops, whistle." Right? And Sam can't whistle for some reason. Can you guys both whistle?
Like not as loud as they were whistling.
Yeah, no, I can't whistle that loud, but I can generically whistle.
I know how to amplify too. I can do the whole.
Yeah, I can't amplify it, but whatever the case may be.
So you're gonna have to be the lookout then.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
guess since you're the
yeah.
only one that can actually whistle
Fuck.
further than.
Should have
5
just should
feet.
have said no. I can't. Fuck.
Yeah. So then we see the gang. They bring this like cop that they paid off, right? And I guess the cop kind of tried to stop them because they were planting bombs. But did they ever show us them planting the bombs? Like, I don't know. They just did this kind of randomly. Like, so they had this random cop, and they were like, "Yeah, you betrayed us," or some shit, right? So Sam's like hiding and watching, and they about to let him go, and then as he's running off, they shoot him in the back, right? Sam sees this and he's like, "Oh shit, like I'm getting the fuck out of here," right? So he takes off, and while he's leaving, he comes across his buddy, yeah, Jace, right? And he's getting beat up by Rizza. And I'm like, "Dude, how's anybody getting beaten up by this kid? Like, Jesus Christ, like I don't
Yeah. that Jason's a big fucking dude.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Oh.
just fall
He was
over.
probably all right.
Just fall over on him.
Exactly. So Sam, I don't know, he runs in and tries to save him. He gets captured. They break his arm, knock him out, throw him in a shopping cart, right?
So
So
that shit was funny. Just falling back into his neighborhood like a pile of dog shit. Just
right? So they leave him in the shopping cart back at the apartments. Joe sees them out the window, and I guess Rizza spots Joe, and Joe goes takes Sam to the hospital. Rizza goes back and tells like the gang, like, "Yo, that dude we hit with the car, he's still alive. Like, he's not hurt. He's still alive." So essentially, Cyrus sends the gang after Joe, and so Joe basically beats the shit out of the gang. And like we were saying earlier, one of the gang members tries to throw one of those smoke bombs at him, and this is where he kind of flips the car, reveals himself to have like power, saves the girl and whatnot. So he rushes home and he starts like packing up to just like get out of Dodge. I mean, as superheroes in hiding do, right? Like, so that made total sense to me. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, that makes sense, right?
I thought that whole scene looked really good too. Like him flipping over the car and like holding it as it blows up was real. Like it was it punched up in terms of like the budget that I'm sure this movie didn't have.
Yeah.
It was like that looks pretty good because there's parts later in the movie that look very bad.
Yes.
It's like I
yes.
guess if you have to use your budget. Use it
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I feel like Hollywood and everything, they're still struggling with doing that like facial like de-aging,
Like
right?
young guy face.
Yeah, right. Like
unless
clearly,
you're Lucasfilms.
right? So no, man, even that is still a little iffy. I mean, it looks good.
And they're the A team on it.
Yeah,
So
right?
anybody else that thinks that they can do it, they're in for a surprise.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's clearly much harder than we would assume, right? They're like, "Oh yeah, that's easy, right?" Remember, like, look what they did with Chris Evans, right? They didn't de-age him at all, right? They just put his face on another body. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
totally different, right? So Sam stops by and asks Joe to help him. Joe says no, so Sam basically storms off, and he goes to Joe's apartment looking for his watch, right? Which I was like, what the fuck? That's so random. You know what I mean? So Cyrus and his
There's no like backstory to the watch either. It's just kind of
No.
like I have this watch that's broken
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's supposed to be getting fixed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, that's it.
I believe there's probably some kind of deleted scene that tells backstory about the watch. It's probably his dad's watch. I don't
was
know if
thinking
we're
that too.
Yeah.
led to just assume that, but it's like, no, you gotta. He has to say, "Oh, it's my dad's watch." Like, at least say that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of stupid. So Cyrus and the gang show up at the apartment looking for Joe, and they just like roll into his apartment and just shoot the place up. Like, don't give a shit if anybody's there. Just shoots the place up. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell's going on? Like, I mean, I know you guys are like some gang members, but it's like, dude, that's stupid as hell. You know what I mean? Like, that was so like you're wasting bullets. Like, come
Yeah.
on. You know what I
Collateral
mean?
damage.
Yeah, Granite City seems like they probably have a surplus of bullets for kids to grab. Um,
Right? So essentially, they start shooting up the apartment. Everybody can hear it. So Sam and his mom, for some reason, are looking directly into the apartment where they're spotted by Cyrus. So Cyrus sends his goons to go capture, the kid, right? Not
Yes,
the
and
mom for some
everybody
reason.
in the entire state, country, universe at the same time face palmed at that one particular scene.
Pretty much, right? So they catch them. They knock out the mom, beat her up, I guess, a little bit because she was pretty beat up in the next scene. So they take Sam basically in hopes of drawing out Joe. Joe is sitting at a bus stop about to leave and he hears the watch go off. So he's like, oh shit, I got to go give the watch back. So he goes back and he finds the mom in the apartment all beat up. And she tells him, they took Sam, right? So he goes, grabs a garbage truck, fills it up with some, I don't know, barrels of some flammable shit, I'm assuming, right? And drives over to where I guess he knows where Cyrus's gang hangs out, right? I was like, okay, well, that's kind of lucky. All right.
One thing that I thought was funny is I might have to send you guys the photo after this. But I was like watching this, and when he backs the truck in, I had to like go back for a second. And on the side of like the trash can truck, right? It says "City of Granite City."
Yeah.
Like they just have it twice on there. I was like, what? How did this sneak by? Or is this a joke?
So
that would be very funny if it is a joke.
I
Yeah,
saw
no,
it too.
for sure.
I almost said, well, why don't they have the Department of Redundancy department at the bottom of it?
They may have. I don't know.
Yeah.
City of Granite City.
Yeah. You're going to have to post that picture on Instagram, John. So essentially, he drives the garbage truck directly into the right building, right? Because there was a couple buildings around there. He drove it into the right specific building where the kid was, right? And he hops out and starts beating the shit out of people. So him and Cyrus come face to face, and Joe essentially, this is where Joe reveals that he's not Samaritan. He is Nemesis. So Samaritan is the one who died, right?
I was not expecting the M. Night Shyamalan twist of this movie.
You weren't?
No, I did not see that coming at all.
When I didn't want to give this movie credit, right? When I watched the trailer, I was like, this could be a fun movie. I like Stallone. I like Unbreakable. I thought that was what this movie was going to be, right? It's just going to be like an Unbreakable clone, and I was like, it's going to be fun to talk about, see him do whatever. But then they said the twins, and I was like, I know what's happening. I know what's going to happen in this movie. So I've got a bunch of notes in here that I was like, he talks about how he stole stuff as a kid. That's hints. And then there's this. Yeah. And then, he likes to like beat up on people, or he does this or whatever. And I just kept piecing it together. And then when that line happened, when he's like, I'm the bad guy, I was like, oh shoot, this is where the movie gets good.
Yeah.
And I was all about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, because I watched it like last weekend when it first came out. And I wasn't really paying attention too much because I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it again. So me and my brother were watching it, and so I knew it was coming when I watched it again the second time, right? But as I was watching throughout the movie, I was like, oh yeah, okay, he's clearly like the whole movie has been clearly hinting that yes, this is Nemesis. Like he's not a good guy, like, or he's not the good guy, right? Especially like early in the movie too, when here's the other weird thing too. Do you remember that old lady was being harassed on the bus and he was sitting there, he wasn't doing anything. But then all of a sudden this annoying kid is getting beat up and he decides to come out of hiding and help this little kid. Why not help the old woman? Like,
because he couldn't assault any children when it was just the old lady.
Right?
Yeah, he definitely beat up the kids.
Beat these guys up.
Yeah, right. So
he said, minors, my favorite.
Yeah, so he basically gets the hammer back, right? And a bomb goes off from the garbage truck, right, with all that liquid and whatnot. So then now there's like just fire everywhere, and Cyrus essentially tells his goons, "Oh yeah, shoot him." So then we get scenes of him fighting his way through, kicking the shit out of people, and I was like, "All right, Stallone, like you still got it." I mean, don't get me wrong, like your vocal acting is pretty terrible, but you can still do the action scenes. I'll give him that, right? He should stick to those roles where he doesn't talk very much. You know what I mean?
Well, like imagine a reality where like instead of Vin Diesel doing Groot, it's Stallone.
Oh my God.
Where he just has to say one line like in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah. I'm Groot. You say it like Rocky. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, exactly. As all these guys are shooting, Cyrus sees that his girl, Syl, right?
Syl,
she
yeah.
died. Yeah, she got she died from the blast, right? Like I was like, that's pretty lame, right? I thought she was gonna be kind of, those like female henchmen, like right hand women who like are badass with like knives and stuff. So I thought that's the character she was gonna be. So like her and Stallone would have like, you know what I mean, a quick little fight where she's like using knives and stuff, and then she would like punch her out of the like building or something. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, for her to just die like that, I was like, that's pretty lame, right? So, so yeah, so Cyrus all pissed off. He takes Sam, takes him upstairs, handcuffs him for some reason, and Joe essentially just fights his way up and gets to the kid. So as he's on his way to go save the kid, I looked away, so I don't know how the hammer got on the ground. Did he just drop the hammer?
Yes.
Absolutely. It was so stupid.
Oh my God.
That's so I like this movie as like an entertainment value thing, but I was like, why did you do that? That's like it's the only thing that hurts you. Just keep it with you. Like
yeah, it has a shoulder strap. Just keep it fucking strapped to your shoulder. Like what is going on, man? You know what I mean? He lost that thing like 3 times throughout this whole like few minute scene, you know what I mean? So so as he's on his way to go get the kid, he drops the hammer and Cyrus picks it up. And like, does the hammer give people powers? Like that's what
No.
I couldn't understand.
No, and that shit is what pissed me off the most about this movie. Cyrus is just another bitch with a fucking hammer that supposedly is the only thing that can stop this dude, but you still need to be able to swing that thing hard enough to hurt the man who can punch holes through people. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was pretty weird. And that brings me up to the next point. So he basically gets the upper hand because Joe starts overheating and Sam somehow breaks out of his whatever he was like locked to, you know what I mean? Yeah, right. He's got Samaritan strength. So he broke out and he goes and hits Nemesis Cyrus hits Cyrus and distracts him long enough for Joe to all of a sudden be fine for another minute, get up, right, and bend this so-called hammer the only thing that can hurt them, bend it around Cyrus's body, and then drag him over to a hole and throw him in the hole, right?
Yeah, I've heard when people talk about heart attacks that they're like hurricanes. There's like an eye in the middle where you can just be fine and bend a hammer around a man, and then you have to go back and fall back and about to die again.
Mind you, that hammer wasn't long enough to go all the way around, so it just went from like one elbow to the other, and that was just enough strength apparently to wrap around his arms and not be able to let him out. That shit is another weird thing that didn't make any damn sense.
Yeah, to be honest, he did not bend the hammer enough to go all the way around him. So like when he pulled so I thought he was like sticking it into the wall or something, right? Because he did, like I said, he didn't bend it all the way around him. So like when he threw him down, the hammer would have just fell off, right?
Yeah.
And it just I was like, okay, whatever.
The hatred was holding him in, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
it was, and right? I do like it was funny that the actor playing
Cyrus,
the bad guy, right?
Cyrus, yeah.
It looked like he was clearly holding it so it would stay against him.
Yeah.
So he's like falling and like rolling around, and he's like holding onto this hammer so it doesn't fall anywhere.
Yeah, no, that was one of the first things I noticed. I was like, is he like? Because like again, I thought he stuck it into the wall, right? And then he pushed him down, and I was like, oh, okay. So like what? What the hell? And then throws him in the hole with the hammer still like wrapped around him, right? And this is where we get the flashback, and we finally see terrible faced CGI'd Stallone falling in the hole. Like I don't know if you guys caught his face because it was very quick. It looked really.
I went
bad.
back and paused it.
Yeah, it looked really, really bad. You know what I mean?
I was like, maybe when you think twins, you think identical. But I was like, maybe they don't want to do like identical twins because it doesn't look anything like him. Like like when it's just in the moment, he just pulls it. So I went back and paused it. It's like, no, that's like really bad Photoshop Stallone face, like just stuck to like a
some
nothing
random
person because CGI the whole way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I looked it up. Like I was looking up like the Wikipedia, and it said that he played both Nemesis and Samaritan. So I turned to my brother and I go, are they twins? Because I missed that part right at the beginning, right? And he's like, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, right. And so I didn't really think twice about it. But then I seen that face and I was like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, it's an Amazon movie, so they do have a bit of money, right?
Yeah.
They don't
Or
have
they
to
should at least, yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? So like they could have did a little bit better, right? So then we also see Stallone pull off the Nemesis mask, right? He's the like, Nemesis survivor, and then he throws the two masks in the hole, right? So
Mhm.
Sam ends up again using his, Samaritan like strength, breaks a water pipe, right? And it's enough to cool down Joe enough, but Joe like passed out, but he wakes up 2 seconds. Like I'm just like, what is going on with this? Like this makes no sense. Are you guys just killing time? Like what the hell is happening? Like just get up and then so they get up, they run, jump out the window. Well, actually, no, they jumped through the wall. There was a window literally behind them, like maybe 5 feet from them, right? And they turned and ran 10 feet or even more. They ran like they ran through the whole room, right? The whole flaming room. They ran through it to jump through the wall to crash into another building. 5 feet away, there was windows. The windows were right there. And I'm pretty sure there was water on the other side of those windows. You know what I mean? So that was a win-win for the guy to go jump out into water. No? Right?
No, you're not
Stupid.
wrong.
That would have been the better option, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
I do think the one thing that would have made the scene better, because one of the things I was thinking was like, how does Sam live through a wall jump?
Oh yeah, and he landed on the
just
kid.
run with him and just put him in front of you and jump through with him as like a battering ram.
That's exactly what I said to my brother. I turned to my brother and go, yo, he just had the kid in front of him going through the wall, and when he landed, the kid was also in front of him. So he landed on this kid, and the kid is fine. I'm like, he just murdered that kid. They're like, what the hell?
Pasted him.
You know what I mean? No, that's exactly.
Now everyone knows I'm the bad guy.
Right? Yeah, no, that's exactly the first thing that came to my head. So Joe tells Sam, good guys, bad guys, everybody is whatever, right? It's up to you to make the right decision, right? So he goes and then he just Batman vanishes, and it's just like, huh? What the fuck? Like, what? You're a ninja now? Right? So he bounces. Sam comes out, right, with things, and he's telling, news reporters, Samaritan's alive. And then we see Joe in the crowd. He turns around, walks off, right? Like, how retired superheroes do. And that's the end of the movie, right? So
I do think that it was funny that he's talking about how like Samaritan, like he's like, you should go do the right thing. Everybody's like kind of good, kind of bad, whatever. Go do your deal or whatever. And then he instantly gives credit to the wrong guy. Like instead of being like, there was a superhero, I don't know who it was, wild. He's like, no, it was the guy who died that was the opposite. The person that the guy saved me, the guy who saved me's brother that he hates more than anyone else. That guy saved me just now.
mhm.
The one that had that bad reputation? He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So, but I guess it's kind of like them trying to be like, yeah, he's the good guy, so he is a Samaritan. He's not he's not Nemesis, I guess that they were trying to do. I don't know, it's stupid. But my thing is they're going to definitely make a sequel. If they can make a sequel, they're going to, and the Samaritan is going to be alive in the sequel, right? So it's going to be two old Stallones fighting against each other.
Please
right?
no.
And
Please
now
One has no beard.
right? And the Samaritan now is a bad guy, right? Like he survived the explosion and now he's the bad guy. So now you have Nemesis as Samaritan and Samaritan as Nemesis. That's the sequel.
Samaritan 2 Nemesis revived.
Do
Do you
pretty
think
much.
that the sequel, right? This theoretical sequel starts off with like people destroying buildings, right? That they're trying to redo a new skyline or whatever because the city's finally getting back to normal, and then you see like a fist punch through the ground, and it's like Stallone with an eye patch or something, and he's like, "I'm Samaritan" or whatever.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Nemesis.
Yeah, no, I totally see that. He's got the eye patch and a white suit, right? Like
Yeah.
like when he's walking around with a white suit and an eye patch, like kind of like
And a cane.
like Logan from X-Men.
Oh,
right?
Jesus.
when he wears the eye when he has the eye patch
The
disguise.
disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
Now we're gonna address the good, the bad,
And the meh.
and since we have a guest, we'll let you go first.
One thing that I thought was good is I think I kind of mentioned this, I guess, earlier, that this is like a good bad. This is like I guess, a good bad movie, right? Like, I came out of the movie thinking it's like watching like Sharknado or something, where it's like a really entertaining movie, but it doesn't have a lot of like ability to like. I guess the movie's only good when you're watching it. It's not really good when you're like if you like listen to it, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a lot of exposition that doesn't go anywhere. You know, broken watches that don't make sense to be broken, or why they mean anything. But it's fun to watch, like Stallone, you know, shove a grenade in a guy's chest,
Yeah.
or you know, hand someone a like a fire extinguisher and then bust it off and he shoots through a wall. Like that's cool, right?
Yeah.
It's like you know, wrestling, like what brings in like WWE, why that's fun to watch, or like you know, it's the movie that people in Tropic Thunder are making. Right? Because Tropic Thunder's the good movie, but then the movie they're making is like the bad good movie.
Yeah.
So I think that like right off the bat, the movie hits a lot harder than like you think, because it's way more entertaining than I thought.
Yeah.
Like if you turn off your brain and you like really like get into like just enjoying it, it's like a 10 out of 10 bad movie, right?
Okay.
But it's not like it's like a 5 out of 10 good movie. So I think that's good. I think Stallone does a great job in the movie as like the old retired grizzled guy, and you know, like y'all were saying, when you go through the first time, you're like, I didn't realize there was gonna be a twist in this movie.
Yeah.
I only thought it because I was like, anytime I hear twins, I know there's the only reason you put a twin in this movie, and it's if it's either a gag like it's in like Bullet Train with the twins,
Okay. Yeah.
or it's you know it's gonna be used later, so it's like Chekhov's twin, but you know they seed that really well. Or he like will mention, oh well, you know, I used to steal things, or you know, I used to get in fights, or you know, when you punch somebody, you know, you punch them when they're not paying attention, and you knock them out, and then you run away, and it's like, oh, that's not a very heroic thing to do.
Yeah.
And you're like, I think that might be he might be Nemesis, and then you know, there it is, this is the big I'm the bad guy thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. That meme exactly. So what about you, John?
I gotta say, I really love the kid, man. Like that kid was ridiculous. He was all over the place. First, he was trying to be good, and then he wanted to be bad because of all the, you know, he needed to make the money. So he went off and did that shit with Cyrus, and then he was good again. And then he was a badass and fought for his friend and took that fucking monkey wrench to the hand like a champ.
Did not take it to the champ. He passed out.
I mean, he still he came back from it. He came back from
he also
more.
doesn't go to
Yeah.
he doesn't go to the hospital either.
No, he got dragged to the hospital.
Yeah, he did get
Oh,
taken.
does he?
Yeah.
Stallone
Joe
brought
takes
him.
him to the hospital, and his mom. That's where his mom finds him because she worked.
That's where his mom finds him. That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But then he goes right back for more. Like he's
that's
he's
true.
relentless. He's a relentless
He's just
kid.
stupid, is what you're saying.
Yeah, stupid as a stupid does. He was a good kid. I liked him. I liked him a lot.
That's fair.
What about you, sir? What did you like?
I enjoyed the superhero story about it. Like I liked that whole backstory, and even like the pretty shitty flashbacks. I mean, with the masks on, it was fine, right? It was just when the
They
masks
look
came-
great.
Yeah.
It was just when the mask came off. So I think for me, my favorite part of this movie was that whole superhero story, like behind Samaritan and Nemesis, right? I want more of it, right? So, what about your meh, John?
I don't think I have one. I was kind of up and down, but not anywhere in the middle for this one.
No,
I don't think
No, in the middle.
No, I don't think I had anything for the middle ground on this one. I definitely have a bad, but no, I don't think I have a meh.
Okay. What about you, Josh?
I think that there's a lot of, I guess we kind of already mentioned it a little bit, but there's a lot of like weird exposition in the movie where, you know, when it's not directly related to like cool like twists that they're going to set up at the end, there's like weird directions sometimes. I think specifically with the kid, I do like that he's like got like the gumption to like, you know, hunt down this guy.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like, you know, whenever, you know, you're a kid and you're like, I think that Bigfoot does exist and I'm going to figure it out. And, you know, you just like Google it and he's like, I think it might be this guy. He's strong and this guy's throwing things and this guy, you know, hit a home run last night. Maybe it's him. You know, it's just he's going like on this like harebrained insane thing. And I like that aspect of it. but there's parts of the movie, like one note that I took. I think it's right after Cyrus kidnaps him and says, "I'm going to use you for bait," or like you're going to die or whatever. He just starts laughing maniacally, and I'm like, "Is this kid a psychopath? What happened to him? Like, did it break his brain? He's finally just like, I like the pain. Like, I want you to like kill me. Like, like please, just like end this thing for me." And I was like, that's a really weird direction to be taking for me to like think that you're not a psychopath. So there's that stuff. I do think that they miss a little bit with like entering his dad, and I think that there could be something maybe if they do a sequel. Like, is it better if he's the Samaritan? Probably not, right?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I like him as the nemesis. Now that I know, I like it.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess like, do we think that Sam's dad might be Samaritan? Age doesn't really add up, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, old guys can reproduce, right? So I mean, right? And who knows, right? But he knows who his dad is, right? Unless it was just some guy who,
which I guess is who CG Stallone is, right?
Sorry?
Does he know?
It's just some random dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
We never really find out for sure that he knows who his dad is. So yeah, maybe that could be. Maybe that could be. Plot twist for sure.
No, but then how would he have known the story about his dad stealing cars and then Samaritan letting him go?
That's true. I forgot about that part.
Yeah. So
maybe his dad was lying.
Maybe it's his grandfather.
Who would his grandfather be? I guess it would like something insane.
No, Samaritan is
grandfather.
Sam's granddad.
Yeah, right. So like Samaritan's son is the dad. Right?
No, that could be interesting and a good point. Yeah, I'd actually like that.
Yeah. So
there you go. No, it's not bad. It's just men now. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, my meh would probably be that like Stallone's acting. Like I get it, he's old, but I mean there's so many old actors who are still great at the job. Is it just that he just never had it and I just never realized it? Or like just he was basically like Arnold in this movie, like from Batman and Robin, right? All the cheesy, corny punchlines. I'm just like, what am I watching?
The dinosaurs die. The Ice Age.
Yeah. Like there was some pretty cheesy lines. Like I probably should have wrote some down, but I mean, they were pretty bad, But my bad for the movie was I'm probably just gonna say that it has to be the fact that I didn't get more of the superhero story. I wanted more superhero, right? Like give me superhero. I'm coming to watch a superhero movie, not Old Man Stallone, right? But yeah, other than that, I mean, I enjoyed it as like a turn your brain off movie. So if I choose anything, it'd probably be like that. What about you, John?
Fucking MacGuffin hammer didn't make sense in Cyrus's hand ever. That man is a man, and Stallone is not. Like, yeah, sure, the hammer can do the damage. It was being swung by someone equally as strong as him to do said damage. All of a sudden, whoever be worthy shall possess the power of Samaritan. Bullshit.
I mean, he did pour all his rage and wrath into the hammer.
So. Yeah, into the hammer. You still have to be able to swing it. That thing looked like it was heavy as fuck.
It looked pretty heavy, not gonna
lie. I guess one way that you could fix it is if like whenever he hit somebody with it, it was like a red like pop.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is this hate going or whatever?
Yeah, right. Some kind of energy power.
But no, it's just like a hammer. And it's not even glowing all the time. It's just he's just beating people up with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking basically. Triple H over here.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm just busting your balls. I mean, I agree. The hammer's stupid. And then he just bends it like it was like nothing. I'm like, what the hell?
Just a normal hammer.
Yeah, like what was so special about this? And he just bends it around the guy. Like, what the hell?
Just a hammer, man. No. Fucking dumb.
So, what about you, Josh? Like, what would you pick as the bad,
something bad,
really bad of the movie that you dislike?
I think the really bad part of the movie is the villains. They just feel really bad for no reason, and they're like, the thing that makes it bad, not like meh, in my opinion, is there is interest at the beginning, right? Where he's like, we're doing this because we look up to Nemesis, right?
Yeah.
We want to like, it's like, kind of like I guess it wouldn't be the Joker thing, but like there's like Batman villains that are like, we want the little guy to succeed. So the reason we're bad guys is because it's kind of like the Deadshot kind of thing where he's like, I'm getting paid to, knock off, superheroes and whatever so that you guys don't get beat up in the street by like, maniacs that like say they're good or whatever. So like there's like that aspect of it and it's interesting, but like he always like that actor specifically, I kind of mentioned it before Game of Thrones, he's the guy who plays the Greyjoy uncle and he's just a bad guy the whole time. Like he's just horrible the whole time.
Is he?
And
yeah,
I mean this one he's just like, he has like a little like tattoo on his face like, oh, he's a bad guy, and everybody has like weird tats on their face.
Yeah, well, that was the Nemesis
psychopaths
symbol, right?
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I must have missed it. I was like, is it like a teardrop thing? Like, what is this?
Yeah, no, it was.
But yeah, he's just like,
it was a hammer
killing people, and
it was the hammer and the N. And another thing about that, sorry to interrupt, is he was like, he's like, I like when he's talking with Sam about Nemesis. He's like, I have a different philosophy because Sam had the Samaritan on his book, right? And he goes and he pulls down his shirt and shows a tattoo on his chest, right? And I'm like, dude, you have it right there on your face. Like, why are you showing your chest to a little kid? Like, come on.
He's like a real super fan.
They really like to show off to little kid.
Right? No, but yeah, everybody had that. It's like a hammer with an N on it, and they all had it on their face. But it looks cool. I'm not gonna like the symbol. It looks cool, not on their face, but like the symbol in general looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also like the Samaritan one. I guess it was like the N, but like it was almost like the 3DS that you make, like when you're like a kid or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
lines, yeah.
So
it was cool. Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed it.
So now that we've got the good, the bad, and the meh out of the way, we've got the movie behind us. That leads us to you, Josh. Why don't you tell us about your podcast and where we can find you?
All right, like we said at the beginning, it's most places you can find it. Spotify, podcast. I guess the podcast app.
Yeah.
I think we're even on Good Pods as Millennial Coffee Break. We have a YouTube channel that I have been very bad about getting up, where we'll do more like video game breakdowns, and I'm thinking about possibly starting to do like TV show breakdowns and stuff like that on there, where we'll get some footage. I'll get some quick ideas. It'll be like a shortened episode kind of. That's also Millennial Coffee Break, and then on Twitter we are just MCB, or MC Break, I guess. There you go. That's where you can find us. Follow us. We drop episodes every, or I guess I say every. For the most part, on Mondays and Wednesdays. So we try to get out 2 episodes a week. That might be changing a little bit while we have a football I guess my co-host does a football podcast, so he's going to be doing some of that. So we might do like every couple of weeks, maybe just do one a week. But yeah, that's where you can find us.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. I definitely came across you guys on Twitter. Right, I think that's the first place I found you guys. Right, so
yeah,
right. And then our network pod buddies, right? They like
What in the anime?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak right now. Yeah, what in the anime, right? I think we both kind of tried to reach out to you guys at the same time, but we were just so like still trying to get everything in order and like
my fault.
Right, so I mean. Yeah, so like it was hilarious. Like we both like messaged you guys like on the same post or whatever it was. It was pretty funny. And then we were talking about it later and we were like, "Oh shit, we both asked the same guys." Right? So, and it worked out. We got you and then they got your podcast partner, which I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
Sean? Is it Sean?
Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. No,
Ryan.
Sean was ours last 2 weeks ago. Sorry.
Yeah.
So many names.
Yeah. So yeah, check them out. Like I said, I listen to their podcast. I enjoy it. It's definitely a nice little mental break, right? Which essentially that's what you guys are going for, right?
Yeah, we do like some movies every once in a while. I think we're gonna do a She-Hulk episode next.
Okay.
I guess it depends on when. I guess this is dropping in like a week from then, so I guess that episode should be up already. But doing a She-Hulk review midway through. Kind of okay, I guess, is y'all's sneak peek. And then we do like occasionally we'll do like deep dives where it's just like a group of things that we just like are thinking that are like wild and like we want to jump into. So it's kind of just like whatever you could get into with like a coffee, like hang out with your friend or whatever, like or like lunch. So it's just kind of like two guys chatting about like weird things that they notice in the world. That's just as weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, for sure.
We dig
Right?
it. We certainly dig it.
Yeah, your last episode was the Game of Thrones one, right? Where you guys were talking about Game of Thrones?
Deep dives in pumpkin spice.
Yeah, that's the one. We did pumpkin spice most recent, I guess.
Oh, okay. I guess I missed that.
But yeah, we did a quick. I guess it's called Got Boobs, which is why people watch Game of Thrones for the most part at the beginning. So
yeah, lots of boobies, definitely.
yeah.
Nicholas said it: stabby, 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 sexy, sexy, stabby, stabby, sexy, stabby, sexy, stabby.
John.
Those too many characters. We tried.
Yeah, John doesn't like Game of Thrones, so
Never seen more than one episode.
So he's kind of lame.
Well, now's the perfect time to jump into House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a prequel.
Than the last one, so I heard the last season of Game of Thrones was terrible.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's about the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It starts off amazing, right? Just think of it like a CW show. The first 3 seasons are good, and then it just slowly tapers off, right?
And then you're addicted and you have to deal with it.
Exactly. That's basically what happens, right? But yeah. All right. Well, so definitely have to thank you for coming out. Totally appreciate you joining us for this movie, right?
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, we had a blast.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe next time we can get Ryan on, and then maybe we can get both of you guys on, right? Just do a nice little group thing if we ever get the chance, right?
Media coffee break.
Basically. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good crossover name.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we take off, I got to throw our social medias out there. You can find us on Instagram at MNWTB Podcast, on Twitter at MNWTBoys, on TikTok at MNWTBpod, and on Facebook at MNWTBoys Pod. Where else can we be found, Zach?
You can find us on YouTube, and you can find us on Twitch. John still hasn't given me the Twitch name, so I don't know why he keeps not mentioning Twitch, because I don't know what the name of it is. But the YouTube
Set it up yet.
Media Night with the Boys! ! So yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave us comments there. You can leave us comments or hit us up on any platform. Like, they go directly to our phones. So I mean, just hit us up wherever, right? So yeah. So
yep, and rate and review too. We definitely need to get ourselves out there, and rating and reviewing is the way to do it.
All right. So yeah. So I guess with that being said, guys, it's been real.
It has been real. Deuces. Thank you for checking out Media Night with the Boys, part of the Geek Talk Network.